Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew. And welcome back, Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagons podcast. With us today, we have Sean, Mike, Pat, Russell, Todd, and myself. I'm Travis. And today, on this glorious Super Bowl Sunday where none of us really care who wins, we're bringing you another podcast. And since today is Super Bowl Sunday, we're going to start talking about all the festivities that are surrounding the New Orleans area in relation to the Super Bowl. We have a few of us at the table that have attended some of the festivities. So, Russell, why don't you go ahead and start us off? I know you went and attended the Super Bowl experience down in New Orleans, so tell us what you thought about it.
Yeah, man, the NFL experience was wild. So I want to say I went to it, I think we hosted 2 times ago, so I was like really young. I was 11, so I didn't have a ton to expect. But going into it, I was able to park actually relatively easily. I went on Wednesday, so it was probably at a time that was less crowded. But I walked straight in, and kind of met with, the entire convention center was essentially open towards it, and they had just stuff everywhere. They had NFL memorabilia. You walk in, and then you just see these giant, maybe like 5 foot by 5 foot helmets of every single team, and that was like really, really cool. They had a bunch of people lining up by the Saints helmet, and other people just out and around looking at all that stuff. But like right next to that, they had every single Super Bowl ring that was like on display for you to go check out. So I got to go check out like the Saints Super Bowl ring, and it was actually very funny, very distinctively. Like 3 years after that, the rings like increased in size. I wish I had a picture to show you all, but I didn't capture that. Mike also,
of all the rings.
That was like really, really cool. And then actually
What about the old Super Bowls that look like some shit that your grandpa wore back in the day?
It's funny the ramp up from when it started to where it ends. Like the increase in size was the most notable thing. But right next to that, there was like sequenced or diamond jeweled helmets that were like awesome. Really, really cool. Awesome. They were all like spinning at a very slow rate and had all 32 helmets. I got some great pictures of the Saints ones. That was really cool. But that's like right when you first walked in. Besides that, you had like little booths set up, or not, like you had big areas set up for like activities. So there was like a cornhole area, there was a kick a field goal area, and a run a 40 area. And I participated in some of these things very unsuccessfully, but I had a very, very good time. Mike, what did you think about it?
Man, I thought it was pretty cool. I went on Friday night. We parked at Delgado. And took the school buses. Mm-hmm. It was like a shuttle program done through the NFL. That was seamless. It was awesome. That was the biggest worry that me and Jamie had, like going out there. And that out of everything, that was the most put together, like easy, get in and go kind of thing. We got there. It was packed, like full of people. To the kicking the field goal event and like the running the 40 and all those little different stations, it was like an hour plus wait in line. So wow. that kind of like really sucked.
Yeah, I don't think I waited an hour for anything. Maybe close to it for the. It was one of the passing ones where you could throw it into like the nets that were so far away.
Yeah, we were there quite a while. We did pretty much most of them, but it was just a long wait. I saw the helmets, mm-hmm. the bedazzled helmets. Those are amazing.
I made
the
that
Super
same
Bowl
exact
rings,
comment.
Yeah, they're amazing. Now, did you see the wall? It was like it said NFL in the middle, and then they had helmets,
mm-hmm.
and they were like.
I did. I got some really good pictures of that.
Like iridescent.
Yes.
Like colored football helmets. Those looked awesome.
Just everything on display was like, it was easy to be taken aback. It was just a really cool experience.
Absolutely.
One of the other things I didn't mention that I thought was really cool is towards the beginning, they had like full setups of like essentially it was like a half of a mannequin in a jersey, and you could go up behind it and rest your head on top of like where the shoulder pad, like where the helmet would be, and you could like take pictures of what you would look like like in anybody's jersey. That was really cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. While we were there, my kids wanted to do the 40 run. They did it twice actually, and while we were there was so mostly it was kids running the 40, and that was cool. They timed you and everything just like you would do at the combine.
Did you run the 40?
No. And but there was like some older people doing it, and I was thinking to myself, man, this could be bad. Somebody running, and like something happened to them or whatever. I thought it, and it happened almost immediately. The guy, there was an older gentleman, probably a little older than us, maybe, and he was running, and all of a sudden he like fell awkward. And he broke his leg.
Oh, wow.
That is nuts.
And everybody was scrambling over there to help him and stuff.
Now, did the EMT in you want to go just charge in there and try and help this man, or did you just kind of...
You say, fuck it, I'm off the clock.
turn a blind eye to
Let him
it?
suffer.
I wanted to, but they had so many people around the guy. There was nothing I can do off duty with none of my equipment or my medicine or anything. So.
Poor guy was going there to have a good time and ends up leaving with a broken leg.
Yes, and a legit broken leg, just for a good time. So.
Were you involved with the lady on Canal Street that slipped on the ice during the snow day?
No, not.
It was on live TV when they're on the balcony on Canal Street, and they're like, "It's very icy out here." I think a lady just fell. It's like on live TV, and they're like, "It looks like paramedics are showing up," and she like slipped and. They didn't show her, obviously, but she slipped on her ass right behind them on the balcony, telling people not to go out on the streets. So.
Yeah, damn. I didn't watch anybody injure themselves, but I did watch one of the employees get smoked in the face by a kicked football. I was standing in line for the kick a field goal, and I don't remember if it was like an older child or it's an adult, but someone kicked a pretty solid kick off the tee, and it smoked this like chick right in the face. I felt so bad.
Yeah, I saw a similar thing with a kid behind the mesh, and somebody kicked it right to the kid's head. He wasn't even paying attention. Bam!
Like the mesh had flexed and hit him in
Right,
the head. Yeah.
right.
I was with two of my friends, and I will not say their names, but they were pretty drunk before we got there, and their shit talk game was so on point. They shit talk these little 10-year-old kids, and it was hilarious. I felt so bad.
Does one of the person's name rhyme with Henny?
Yeah. No comment.
Okay, thank you.
Did you see any celebrities while you were there?
I didn't see anybody. So I forget. We walked by the little area where they had one of the players set up that you could like wait in line for. But like as we got there, it was like shutting down. So I don't even remember who it was. But we were talking about going back to go check out some people, but we never did.
We saw Micah Parsons walk through.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
He was doing
Cowboy hat and everything.
He was doing like a live broadcast of his podcast Friday night, I think, at Republic.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So that's pretty cool.
And it was free too. If I would have had time, I would have thought about going.
And that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed. There's been so many free events surrounding this whole thing. I would have thought there would have been like a money grab and like come pay this much money to come check this out. I mean, there's literally like DJs setting up on top of the Royal Sonesta and just like Bourbon Street's like insanely crowded. Like there's so much going on. It's a really cool event to have down here.
Yeah, it's not like Fan Expo where you got to pay.
Yeah.
$40+ to get in and $45 to park.
The amount of people,
$110 for an autograph.
Earlier today, the amount of people on like that four corners where they had the Fox NFL Sunday guys set up in the middle, and they had like Brady throwing a pass to Gronk across the balconies or whatever.
Oh,
there was so
awesome.
many people packed right there. It looked more crowded than Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we'll jump in and say that we were at a cheerleading competition this weekend, and one of the couples we were with said that they actually paid. I think they went on Thursday night and said they've actually paid $80 to park. So I don't know how close they were to pay that amount, but it was.
So I remember your story about the Fan Expo, about the $45, and I even told Jamie, I was like, maybe we should just Uber. I don't want to pay. Let's just Uber, get there, come back, whatever. So she was looking online, and they had the shuttle service, and man, that was the best part. Like $10 per. They didn't charge the kids. It was just $10 per adult round trip, and it was seamless, really.
So that was definitely a concern of mine too.
Yeah.
I essentially, so I got off of work at like 4:30. My appointment was for like 6 to get over there, or my time to enter. I drove straight over there. I ended up just parking on the street. I spent like $4 because it was like until 7 o'clock. Like it was super easy for me.
Wow, that's cool.
I did see somebody posted on the next door. It was like an hour of parking, and it showed their receipt was like 123 something. But of course, the person, everybody's like, "Where is that? What lot?" They didn't specify. It's like, you know, some horror story of.
It's like that sounds like bullshit.
Yeah, it's like, okay, there's not that we need more details. Say that you paid $123 to park. I mean, it was a screenshot, but it didn't say like, oh, P400 or what lot it is or anything.
Russell, did you go down to Radio Row, like in the convention center, or I mean, I don't know if it was in the convention center or not, where all like the podcast and the TV personalities were doing recording live from?
I didn't even realize that was over there. I didn't see any of that stuff.
So I don't know exactly where it was in relation to the NFL Experience event. I want to say it was probably in the convention center, if I had to guess. But that was the one thing I really wanted to do more than the NFL Experience was go down to Radio Row, see some of the other, I guess I could say other podcasters. I mean, we're podcasters now.
We're official, baby.
Clear, like obviously not on their level, but like
Going to represent.
all the like pretty much every sports related podcast that I listened to was down there for this event, and thankfully I without getting too far ahead, I got to meet Mike Golick Jr. and Sr., who were down there on quote unquote Radio Row. Pretty much all week doing live episodes and some of their podcasts and a few other people, but I didn't know if you'd saw that whole setup or made it down there.
No, I unfortunately missed out.
Okay.
So one thing I did ask Russell off air, so I already know the answer for Russell, because Sean had mentioned off air that our buddy Dylan had actually gone and mentioned that there was a shop that had a whole bunch of stuff for every team, you know, related to the Super Bowl, related to just the NFL in general. That was at the convention center. Russell informed us off air that he did not buy any kind of merch. Mike, did you walk away with anything, any kind of memorabilia from this activity?
The NFL Experience?
Yes.
No, I don't think.
Well, what was the shop like? You went in the shop and everything?
Yeah, was it all Eagles and Chiefs shit, or did they had various teams?
Where was the shop?
I think that was like all the way in
I
the
heard
back.
it was
I saw
on the other end, like on the towards the aquarium.
I must have completely missed that because
Yeah.
I walked in and I was disappointed that there wasn't like merch everywhere.
We didn't even get to that part until like late in the evening, and I was like
On
we
the
were so tired.
if you know the convention center, like the A wing, like all the way on the left, whereas Comic Con and stuff's usually to like the I wing on the
I
other
entered
end.
from that side.
Really?
Now what I did see was that Wilson had a big old booth
Russell?
For the
for NFL footballs. And
so that's the only thing I saw
brand.
was for sale was footballs.
Yeah.
Because
Balls.
Sean said that Dylan actually walked away with a signed T.J. Hawkinson Minnesota mini helmet. So it was,
Yeah.
you know, and I saw actually somebody on Facebook post. I don't know, it must have probably been like a Bijan Robinson or something like that. But somebody posted that they had bought it was a signed Falcons helmet. So I'm assuming it was probably Robinson. But
yeah, we didn't make it close to that area until like late, and we were tired, and the kids were grumpy and stuff, so we ended up leaving.
If memory serves, Travis and I went to the WWE Experience a couple of years back when WrestleMania was here, and I think it was at the convention center, but I feel like the store was like right when you walked in, and the way it was set up, you kind of looped around to where you kind of finished in it as well. I mean, it was a bunch of overpriced merch. I mean, you could buy a wrestling belt for like $400. I got my Pakistan special over there for like 100.
Is it really from Pakistan?
Yes.
Bangladesh.
well, Pat, you'd mentioned that you'd seen some of the podcasts and you got to talk a little bit with Golick Jr. and Golick Sr. And I know Todd had actually just was it yesterday and met Deuce and the Golicks. Why don't y'all tell us a little bit about that?
To put a quick bow on the NFL stuff before that, I did go down to the cathedral to see the lights on Friday night. Yeah, I was kind of just sitting at home on the couch, and then my roommate said he was leaving to go meet up with some buddies to go down there, and I was like, you know what? I don't know when we're going to get the Super Bowl again. It might be another decade, if not more. So let me just get clothes on, try to go down there. So I ended up parking by Protocol and walking an exact mile down.
Did you get a burger?
No.
Because they're trash.
Thank you.
No.
So yeah, I walked down, and the light show was The lights on the cathedral, I think, they were going on all the time, but there was an actual musical accompaniment to it that would play every 30 minutes. So I got there maybe 10 minutes after it had just ended. So I had to wait 15, 20 minutes. They played it. It was like a 6 or 7 minute show, and then went back to just the revolving lights as kind of like a standby until the next show started. So I think I was in and out, well, with the exception of the stop at Lafitte's, I was in and out probably an hour and a half from parking, walking the mile, back, and in and out. So, but as for Travis, kind of you were saying on Saturday, I'll probably let Todd have more of the floor on this because I was working, so I was there doing stuff, but I didn't get a chance to meet Deuce or speak to him because I was kind of just prepping for other stuff. But yeah, Saturday Total Wine had a Deuce McAllister signing, I think around noon, followed by the Golick Junior and Senior around 1:30. One of the guys from It's Always Sunny,
Rob McElhenney, I believe.
Yeah, he was popping in a few stores in Metairie and stopped at Total really quick. And then 4:00 was, I guess, the headliner, quote unquote, was Juvenile doing signings and autographs and photos for his Juvie Juice.
He was paper chasing.
I'm sure he got paid pretty well for that. And,
did he back
I heard
that
people
thing
were
up?
talking about Caitlin Olsen was in town too. I mean, they're married, right? Still to Rob McElhenney. Caitlin Olsen.
Oh, yes.
She was around too.
They are still married, yes.
Yeah.
She's cool. I like her.
Somebody said they were like asking if she was going to do pictures or something. I was like, no, she's just along for the ride. She's not the star right now, even though people know who she is.
But yeah, so I had 2 of the 4 celebrities, quote unquote, under our umbrella to kind of work. So, but I'll let Todd take it because he was the one actually there as a patron with Camden.
Yeah, so Patrick sent me the pictures. I think he sent it in the group text, the podcast group text. That Deuce and the Golics would be at Total Wine signing autographs. I had 2 clients yesterday morning, so I wasn't necessarily trying to rush to meet Deuce. He's a great dude, probably one of the most genuine athletes that I've ever met. I think I've mentioned that before in the podcast. But I had previously already met him and got his autograph at the Walmart on Chapatulas when he was doing the signing. I think, again, it was another alcohol promotion. He was sitting in the alcohol section. But at that time, it was just like me and Travis and like one other person in front of us. So he kind of shot the shit with us for a second. So I only printed a picture of Golick and Gojo because that's who I initially planned on going to see. So Camden and I got there probably at like 1 o'clock, and then right when we walk in, Deuce McAllister is right there, still sitting to the right-hand side. And I thought he would be done by the time we got there. But he wasn't, and the line was very, very short, like 5 people deep. And I was like, Camden saw him, got all excited, and I was like, look, I think we could still get in the line. And he actually had little pictures. I have him sitting over there on the table to sign anyway. So even though I already got my 8x10, Camden has something that he can hang in his room now. And Deuce is, again, just a really cool dude. He right when he sees Camden, he starts asking him about school and how his week was in school, and Camden's like, oh, I had a math test this week, it was tough, and he's like, oh, it's all right, man, you'll persevere, school's important. Just a cool dude, it takes the time to just actually genuinely get to know you as a person. So it was always good seeing Deuce again.
Camden looked incredibly, not wouldn't say nervous, but maybe athlete starstruck a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's probably met him before, I think, maybe you said? Or no,
first time? It was just me and him the last time.
Then he looked like, I never saw you play, but I know about you, I know who you are. He was lit up to see him and meet him and talk to him. And like when he was asking Camden questions about like school and other stuff like that, like he almost didn't know how to act, or he's like, why? Yeah, I'm here to meet you. Why are you asking me about my
was put life? On the spot, yeah.
How dare you be interested in me?
Right, and it was super cool to watch that because like I was taking pictures of.
Patrick took some pictures while Deuce was talking to Camden.
Yeah, so I was taking pictures of Todd and Camden while he was talking from a couple different angles. So, but like Camden was like lit up to be asked how his life was going, as opposed to the other way around.
So when So obviously I was the first person in line when Golick and Gojo walked in. I had the picture, and right when they sit down, I hand Gojo the picture that I had printed, and it's basically both of them standing side by side with the Gojo and Golic logo in the background, and they're both kind of Golic Senior's like angry looking, and Gojo's not. But it's a little tweet saying something at the bottom, and when I handed it to Gojo, he was like, "Oh man, this is so awesome! This is a cool picture." He's like, "I'm gonna snap a picture of it." I checked; he didn't post it on Twitter yet, so I was a little bit disappointed in that. But
he's still working.
But I asked Golic.
Text him, "Where's my tweet, bitch?"
I asked Golic Senior, of course, because I was a big Mike and Mike in the Morning fan. I woke up every morning at 5 o'clock to watch that show. I was a huge fan. That's mainly why I'm such a big fan of Mike Golic Senior. And I even asked him, I was like, "Man, do you ever miss doing Mike and Mike in the morning? Do you, Mike and Mike was such a great show." And he's like, "I'm going to tell you, I really do. It was a really good run, but it was a long time ago."
Well, you should have asked him, "Why don't you join us? We have a podcast.
We got a spot for you.
We have a spot."
Well, Camden was telling Gojo about our podcast, and so he was asking about it, and he's like, "Oh, he's like, you do it with your dad? That's really cool." And I was like, "No, I'll do it with that guy over there." Pointing to Patrick. But it was a cool experience. I love meeting the people who are just really down to earth and just willing to take the time to get to know you.
Yeah, and like I was telling you off air, you were actually one of the only people that actually got to speak to Senior, because he's been ill apparently since Monday when he got in town. So after you got your photo and picture signed, he did maybe 1 or 2 other little signings, and he went to the back, and he was they were giving him like a lot of water and like Pedialyte, because he just was going through it. You could tell when he walked in the door, he looked pretty sick, like just not like I'm hungover sick, like I'm going through something.
Yeah.
So pretty much it was really just Junior Gojo the entire time talking to people, and the only piece of memorabilia that got brought that maybe tops you was a guy had a picture of Senior from his Notre Dame days, and so he got that signed. Another guy brought a couple helmets that he ended up getting signed to the side. And a lady who apparently is very good friends with the Golic family from some time in North Carolina or on the East Coast, she talked to him for a while. But yeah, they had a decent turnout for their event. And like you say, Gojo is like Senior. He's very down to earth, super chill. He was telling stories about his time at Notre Dame and Brian Kelly, took photos with everybody. And the biggest thing for me was all these celebrities who are pushing product. Number one, they're pushing product. They're there for meet and greet with the fans, but also it's a monetary and a business transaction and deal, right? But he told us like the story of how he came about getting involved with Sugarlands, and it was like, yeah, we were with some people, including the distiller, and we were just drinking, and we got really drunk, and we started just mixing a bunch of flavors, and it took about 4 mixes to get like the new birthday cake flavor to be a thing. It's like, but the next day we hung over, we hit on it, we tried it again, and we're like, hey, we could do this. So that's kind of how like their partnership started. But like you can tell he does probably just genuinely enjoy the product and not just there like some other celebrities like, oh, I'm here on behalf of brand X and it's here, and they do this, they do that, blah 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 like that.
Yeah, it seemed like he genuinely enjoyed meeting people. He just seemed like a good personable person. One other thing I remember about him is he was actually in training camp with the Saints a while back, and I was kind of hoping he'd make the roster, but I don't think he did.
Yeah. Speaking of that, he told a story about how he would only get maybe 2 or 3 snaps per practice, and he was like, hey, can we do like shotgun? Because he's like, my biggest fear was hiking the ball and like it breaking or like jamming Drew's finger, and then like if that happens, I'm getting cut. So like he was just going on with a story about that, about how he was terrified for something to happen to Drew while he was like he was the center for something like that. Cause like, hey man, I just don't want to F this up. Yeah. I'm just trying to do my job, and heaven forbid I get him hurt or I hurt some other important player, I'm definitely getting cut or whatever like that though.
It's definitely the center's fault, I know from experience.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Sean getting chewed out on the sideline by Jay Roth.
Every time a ball would hit the quarterback right smack in the hands and he'd drop it, I would get the snap back. Like, I did. But,
Well, speaking of genuine people, while we're still on the topic of the Super Bowl, I know y'all have probably been seeing the viral videos going around of our former quarterback and then backup quarterback, Jameis Winston. I mean, he just seems like a genuine guy who just loves life, and he has taken his time on social media to do things around the Super Bowl with the fans, and he just seems like a real character. Possibly my favorite one that I've seen was he was in Lafitte's blacksmith shop, and he was actually dressed as a pirate standing on the bar. I mean, it was just nuts. But he's definitely developing a fan base. I mean, I know he already kind of had one here, but now like people see him when he's not playing, and I think it's kind of created even more of a fan base for him.
I have a feeling he'll be on TV. I mean, Cam Jordan too. They both, have charisma. The Riz, as the kids are saying these days.
I know he's not ready to hang it up. Like he was even joking, like he would be interested in that Giants job. Saquon Barkley told him, like, hey, you should give the Giants a call. I heard they're looking for a quarterback, and he basically said like he would be interested in the job. So
he goes, you should talk to New York. He's like, which one? He's like, the Giants. But truthfully, I mean, the Jets could be in play too. They could need a quarterback.
I did see the Jets announce they don't plan to bring Rodgers back.
Yeah,
like cutting ties.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, Jameis has done a lot to kind of like repair his image from like when he came out of college with the whole like sexual assault scandal and the crab legs theft incident and things like that.
So let me I know I always have to look at these things with a grain of salt with that, like the sexual assault thing. The timing of that one, I know, like we look at a situation like Deshaun Watson where 25 people come out and say it. Okay, that there's probably some truth to it there. But Jameis was about to get drafted first overall, and all of a sudden this story breaks that a girl was raped at a frat party or something like that. I looked at that and I said, even at the time I didn't even really like Jameis because he ended up going to the Bucs. I always took that with a grain of salt and said, like, okay, this woman's looking for a big payday because she knows he's about to go 1 overall.
I've been watching Jameis on Instagram, and I think all his videos are, absolutely hilarious. My favorite one is the when he's at Cafe Du Monde with the W beignet. Like a little bit of it is insane, just insanity, just watching him play with the beignet. But it's just so funny, though.
I'm pretty sure he was the only one at NFL Honors that was there for no reason whatsoever. He wasn't nominated for anything, but he had a red jacket on with black pants, and he stood out. And him and Cam Jordan had a love fest before the game. I mean, before the pre-show, whatever.
I mean, he's definitely a personality that a company would want to be around and have around to promote whatever, either a product or their talk show for sports or whatever like that. Because the smile is infectious. He's got a goofy charisma and charm about him. He generally seems like he just wants to have fun and have a good time. And he probably would be a guy like, hey, you want to go get a beer after a game or a day or whatever? Or he'll go with a fan to wherever. It's like, hey, Jameis, you want to come be on our podcast?
Sure.
Wait a minute.
I think we messed up.
Should we pitch that idea?
Maybe so.
Jameis, if you're listening.
I'll send them an invite.
Yeah, slide into those DMs.
Todd's been having some luck with that, so why not?
The only person that might not like Jameis is Deshaun Jackson. Remember him?
No,
and in the E to W thing, his face in the background was like, this motherfucker's crazy.
We can get the flaming hot Cheeto dill pickle chips and have them see and have Jameis try those and see if he'll his fingers and clean them up on that.
Yeah.
I saw one today, another video. He was trying to get in Sean Khan's
Shad Khan.
Shad Khan.
Yacht.
On the yacht, yeah.
And he was like yelling in there, hey, let me in.
Yep.
Is anybody allowed on that thing, or why is it parked there?
Because that's how he arrived in town.
That's how he rolls.
I think they said the thing was like $360 million or some shit. It's got a helicopter pad on the top of it. It's not. It looks like a freaking house on the inside.
Yeah.
Is Tony Khan with him?
Maybe.
It's funny because they list Shad as co-owner. I mean, owner of the Jaguars, co-owner of AEW, when basically his son Tony is kind of like the guy who runs everything with it. And Shad probably doesn't even touch a damn thing with it.
Same thing with Fulham. Mm-hmm. They own Fulham, and the son is the one who pretty much does all the work with him for the most part. That's from my understanding.
And Tony pretty much fully runs AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we exit. Before we fully exit the topic of sports here, we're about to get into kind of the main segment of this episode here. Is going to be Russell is going to pick a hockey team to start following. But before we get into that, if you're a follower of our show, a follower of the pod, Mike actually made his soccer pick, which threw us all for a loop in a good way because we thought he was all going to go either Real Madrid or Inter Miami. And Mike, who did you end up going with?
La Unión Deportiva Las Palmas de Gran Canaria.
Go!
Internacional.
Mike, how's it going so far for Las Palmas since you made the pick?
Not so good. They've lost every game since I was on the podcast. It's only been two games. The latest one they played Villarreal, and the score was 2-1. I started watching the game, and look, at first it was very close. But then you can kind of see towards the few games that I've seen so far. I've seen I think four or five games. It's kind of consistent to where they all start off like really, really good and you know they're driving the ball down and trying to attack.
When you're driving,
trying to attack the goalie and all that. But towards the end of the game, I guess they get like winded or something and. I don't know. They lose their gas.
Gassed.
Did they have like older players on the team, or
they do have some older players. One of them, their captain, Kyrian Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. He's going through cancer. So
oh wow,
yeah.
So he's playing through it.
No, he's not. But in
so he's not on the field running slow.
No, but what I'm saying is that's one talent that is out.
Sure.
And
it depends on what kind of cancer, but anyway.
No, it's serious. As a matter of fact, the last game when they played Villarreal,
serious cancer.
Like which is weird. In the middle of the game, they're like driving the ball, and they stop. Everybody stops and starts clapping for Kyrian. And
then they got the ball stolen. The other team scored.
trying to be serious here, Travis.
So, what you'll see with a lot of soccer teams when they do tributes, or for managers who have passed, players who are left, retired, or going through things like that, they will legit, even in important games, like when it gets to like let's say the 33rd minute and. The player or person they're honoring wore jersey number 33. Yeah, they will have like a pre-game mutual understanding that, hey, 33rd minute, we're going to stop. We'll kick the ball out. We'll take a second. The fans will they have the tifos.
Yeah.
And they'll drop down like banners and any kind of like fan art, things like that.
That's what they did.
And yeah, they'll stop and do like a clap or the moment of silence to remember and stuff like that. And then they'll resume play. Yeah. So you see that a lot in Spanish league and maybe Italy. Pretty much all the leagues will do it, but it is just a thing that you see happen. So it's super weird. I know, just like hey.
I wasn't used to it. So
right.
I was like,
you're literally watching the game and like the flow is going this and that, and then the ball's being pinged around.
Everybody
all of a sudden,
starts clapping.
Yeah, as soon as that time frame hits, like bam, okay, everybody the match stops.
Seabass and the fellas.
So Mike, I have to ask a question that I think all of us are wondering. Well, as bad as Las Palmas is playing right now, are you going to switch allegiances? You going to change your team or what?
No.
I know Real's looking pretty tempting, sitting number one on the, sitting
I'm going to stay with Las Palmas.
As Patrick said last week, Real's got a really nice crest.
No, I get that.
I didn't say that.
I get that.
I would never say that.
Yes, you did.
You most certainly did.
Check the tape.
I listened to that episode yesterday.
I might have said it's not terrible. But okay, maybe I did. Was I drunk?
Maybe.
Was I the wasted wagon?
Was your wagon being wasted?
I would.
All fair conversation.
I would not switch teams. I mean, unless like me and Travis talked earlier, if they went to like the third.
But you got to go through the second one first.
You do.
So no, but
so if they drop down to the third league, maybe.
So
what's the point of that?
Why do you think if they went to the second they wouldn't do good? Like, so Cologne recently dropped to Bundesliga 2, and they're trying to get themselves back up to the real Bundesliga. But they're sitting right now in first place. So if they hang on to where they are in the top 3, they're going to get promoted at the end of the year. And to be honest with you, it's been fun watching them beat teams. And I think, maybe Las Palmas has that if they end up dropping in the bottom 3. And then next year they go out and in the second tier, and then they end up doing really well, But at the same point, maybe they stay, because I think they're still out of the bottom 3 right now, right? So, I mean, they still have a shot to stay in.
Yeah, they still got a little shot.
I want to say they're 14th in the table right now. They're 15th, I'm sorry.
Out of 20, right?
Out of 20, yes. So they're on
getting close.
23 points. The worst team is on 15. Then there's 19 and 22. So, I mean, they're a game away, because each game wins worth 3 points. They're a game away from being tied with the number 1 team for relegation. But the good thing for you is Las Palmas, the bottom 3 teams are so bad. There's a reason they're in the bottom 3, and they're terrible. I think we're almost 20 games into the season, and one team only has 19 points. So that means they're losing almost every game, and they're getting draws maybe 1 out of every 3 matches like that at best. So it's not a great spot, but it's, compared to what you're fighting off, you're in a good spot. So
is there any team that's that bad that they get kicked out of the league? It's like, y'all fucking suck.
They go to the second.
They go to the 4th level.
You've dropped to the 3rd tier and you still can't win?
I mean, there are teams in
dropped
England.
to the JPRD rec league.
I mean, you got to have a last place in every league, right?
Yeah. They're so I think in the English Premier League, there's 5 divisions maybe. And there are teams that, say, maybe 15 years ago were in the top flight in the Premier League, and they're down in, Championship 3, which is, the 4th division.
Is that like the Butt League?
It's not quite Sunday Soccer
like
League.
a beer league.
It's quite not it's not like a rec league, but it's pretty bad overall.
It's Sunday soccer at Highway Park by my parents' house.
Let me point something out, though. I mean, so essentially, if they drop to the
Second league.
the second league, that's almost like AA, right? Let us not forget.
It would be like AAA, I guess.
Triple.
But what about, so
don't
Mike's
know,
talking
maybe
about, so if they drop to the second one, it's like triple, but Mike's saying if they drop to the one below that, he's
That
not
would be
going to
like
waste his
double A.
time. Let us not forget, though, our beloved New Orleans Brass was a AA hockey team, and
Were they?
we enjoyed the hell out of those games.
Not even AAA? Not even...
No, they had to go up to the AHL.
The Kentucky, Kentucky Thoroughblades.
I think if they go down to the triple league, you wouldn't even be able to watch them, even with the link.
Hold on a sec. Let me.
Even with the sex link.
Don't underestimate livetv.sx.
So look,
TV sex link.
I actually discovered this morning as I was watching my team get a 1-0 win. Sorry, Mike. But
I'm happy for you.
Kern.
Patrick, do you remember who you thought my top choice as a team was that you picked?
Oh, was it Eintracht Frankfurt?
No, that was for Todd.
That was Todd.
It's the one that has the show.
Donkey Show?
No, with Ryan Reynolds' team. Wrexham.
So yeah, you thought Wrexham was your top pick for me. Mm-hmm. I discovered this morning that Wrexham is actually in the same tier as the Lincoln City Imps.
Yes, they are.
We are imps.com.
So
yeah, I think I brought that up on when you actually released your pick. I was like, oh, you're in a group of Wrexham. So if you watch the show Welcome to Wrexham, you will see Lincoln City in a couple.
I might have to go watch that
in an episode or two, because they play each other and they chronicle the whole season.
So in essence, you were probably the closest to my team than when I went before I made the switcheroo to Colm, because I mean I thought I was gonna have a problem watching them, and being that they were in the English League 3. But then the fact that I said y'all had to dig a little deeper, and you picked Wrexham, which happened to be in the same league as them, which I thought was pretty cool. And I didn't know that. I didn't know where Wrexham was, but I just happened to be watching Colin, and I was like, let me just go see how Lincoln City's doing. They're 11th out of 24 right now, so they're not doing horrible, but they're not getting promoted either. So I'm glad I ended up picking Colin.
Out of 24. Number 24 has got to be dog shit.
And is there relegations in that league? Because do they go down to England 4, or is it called something different?
It's the championship. So the Premier League, and then there's League 1. No,
I thought there was something. There's Premier Champion 1, 2, and then there's
so it goes down to 2. England 2.
Might be 3.
Because Wrexham starts off in that 5th tier.
Yeah, so there's technically 5 divisions of English soccer.
Wow. Yeah, so you were actually the closest. I didn't even realize. I was thinking Wrexham was a little higher up than Lincoln City, so that's why I kind of made that pick. But when I said dig deep, I thought y'all, I didn't think either of y'all did that. But now I realize Wrexham was pretty deep. So anyway.
Damn near killed him.
All right, so without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get into the main area of this pod today, and that's going to be Russell's hockey pick.
All right, so this is going to be pretty interesting. As most of y'all know, not the biggest sports person, but I had a lot of fun researching and looking up the couple of things that I did.
Okay. I'm so excited.
So
I want to start off with everybody trying to guess.
Yes. Okay. So is everybody ready? Like Pat, I can go. I know Todd just recently did some research. Pat, I know you've probably had your pick for a little while, but do you want to go ahead and start it out?
I need to preface some of my time by saying I have some inside information, so I can't say certain things because he didn't really tell me a lot, but he revealed something to me, so it's going to change.
Okay.
So I shouldn't go first because
maybe I shouldn't go early either because Russell let something slip at the party, so. Yeah.
I'll jump.
I have more intel than you, so I can't go before you. Because
okay, so I'll go second and let you go last. Todd can go first.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It doesn't matter, you two, but you want to go first, Mike?
You were drinking.
You go ahead. Why don't you go?
All right, that's fine, cool. I'll jump right in. All right, I'm not going to be really long in any of my explanations, but I have 4 teams to narrow it down to. So first, I'm going to start with the St. Louis Blues. Because we had just recently took a trip to St. Louis. We saw the arena. We spent some time in the store. So I really don't have anything more to go by that other than that we went on this nice train trip to St. Louis. Russell was there with us. I think maybe he latched on to the team while we were there.
We did get to look at the rink when
we
saw the
rink. We saw the merch.
Sean walks in and takes pictures that he wasn't supposed to take.
I don't understand why that was
confidential.
Illegal.
Exactly.
It's like I showed up late to this Fight Club the other day, and it was really awesome. Y'all should come check it out next
instantly
time.
Start talking about
I missed the intro rules, but it was really cool.
It's funny because the guy leading the thing was kind of like looking back at Sean, and Sean was just like,
just none the wiser.
He didn't tell you anything.
No, he was probably too big of a bitch.
Yeah, and it was like, what secret intel is there to look at other than there's a concrete floor,
right, it's a bunch of gray
chairs. Like there was nothing like previewed set up that we could see.
It's pretty ugly looking.
Leaked photos of the St. Louis Blues hockey arena.
Onlyfans.com, St. Louis Blues Arena.
What?
Saw the hockey arena's gray bush. That's what it was like.
Write that down.
Pod title?
All right. My second choice would be, or third choice, I guess, would be the Minnesota Wild. Russell's kind of seems somewhat like an outdoorsy kind of guy. Their logo is pretty cool. It's got that either wolf, bear silhouette with the trees in the background. I don't remember if that was one of the places Russell said when. I don't think it was.
That's one of the logos.
But Russell likes national parks and shit, and Minnesota's got them. So Minnesota Wild is gonna be my third option. Now I don't know if this is accurate or not. I know that you two were saying that y'all heard him leak something at my sweater party, or at least Travis said that. And in my drunken stupor, where I basically told you guys, my soccer team is not going to be the English Premier League, so you two scrambled to think of the German and the Italian teams. I think I might have heard Russell say something along the lines of he was picking the Sharks. Now, I'm a San Jose Sharks fan, and you're in good company, but it's a shitty-ass team, so be prepared. Be prepared. Yeah, look, I got my wall behind you with all the Shark shit. But if you do pick the Sharks, just want to warn you, it's going to be years before we're good again. So
I mean, you get pictures like that, but the dudes holding their balls. Just saying.
I don't know what the reason would be for them saying
I do like that picture.
Yeah. They got cool color scheme, cool logo. I even like the newer logo better with the shark that's more vicious looking. I like how they added the orange in the mix. But again, I've been a fan since they basically came into existence in '91. So if it is the team you pick, at least have somebody to root with. But they're going to suck for a few more years. But my number one pick is, I do remember that when we did the cities that we wanted to visit, I think every one of us wanted to visit Seattle. it just seems like there's the '90s alternative grunge scene, the beautiful landscape that's around there, and the city itself with the Space Needle, and of course, whether it be the Funko Factory or the Seattle Seahawks Stadium or the Mariner Stadium. I mean, there's stuff to do there. So I think my number one pick is going to be the Seattle Kraken, and it's a relatively new team that doesn't have a whole lot of history behind it, so Russell can latch on to it.
Release the Kraken.
So Kraken's my number one pick.
Even flow.
Those were some great guesses.
Thank you.
Well, Russ, I guess I'll go next. And I have two. Right.
This feels like a top 5. Just saying.
Right?
Well, it's taking the place of our top 5 today. So.
I think for you, it's all about the logo. I think you really haven't followed hockey, so kind of much like me, the logo is a lot or has a lot to do.
But the Vegas Golden Knights logo is very mid.
Yeah, was it really about the logo for you? Or was it really about being the Stanley Cup champion at the time?
The troll job.
But Mike also likes Vegas.
No, it was about the troll job.
A good logo, like this, there's sweet swag that comes along with a good logo.
So that being said, the logos. Okay, so my first choice, or I should say my second choice. My second choice, I think you're going to fool us. I don't think it's going to be Major League Hockey here.
You throwing the Mighty Ducks out or something?
That was going to be.
I think you're going to go ahead and fool us, and it's going to be the Canadian League, the Hamilton Bulldogs. This is the logo.
Let me just say, one, that is a pretty sweet logo.
Speaking of troll jobs.
Two, what in the flying fuck?
It looks like the Buffalo Sabres.
I did graduate from Louisiana Tech as a Bulldog, so that's a good guess.
The Hamilton Bulldogs.
How about the Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs?
Order me a hat right now.
That logo is quite awesome.
Is that awesome?
If nobody orders himself a hat, at least Mike needs to for doing that research.
You're going to see Hamilton? No, the Hamilton Bulldogs.
Up in Canada.
Ontario, to be specific.
So it's your second pick, also a fucking minor league team? I mean,
So if you choose to stay, in the regular league that I'm talking about,
The regular league.
the American League,
You mean the National Hockey League?
whatever.
yeah, they got Canadian teams too.
The ECHL?
I think you're going to go with the Anaheim Ducks. I think that has a cool logo. It's cartoonish. Mm-hmm. They had a movie.
Yep, he used to be associated with Disney.
3 of them.
I think if it's not the Hamilton Bulldogs, I think it's going to be the Anaheim Ducks.
That was actually my pick for you.
It was.
And I would have been much more pleased with that one. Sean, do you have any guesses before Patrick and I spoil y'all's party?
I have no idea, honestly. I don't know enough about Russell and his background to say, he would lean towards something like that. I don't know. I don't know why the Phoenix Coyotes pops in my head or something. Just because of, logo and stuff like that, I don't know.
But they're now defunct.
Yep, they moved to Utah.
Oh, they did? Okay. So then, I don't know. Maybe I'd guess the Hurricane. Maybe Carolina Hurricanes. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and say mine, and I'm going to go ahead and say...
Wait, you mean not Yetis in Utah since they can't use the...
They had another cool name, though.
The Mammoth?
Mammoths, yeah.
I think that's what they're going to probably end up being. But no, the Yeti would have been a really cool logo.
Oh, absolutely. You already
right.
got the Kraken, two mythical beasts. Why not?
All right. So, I'm going to just say 3 picks here. And I'm going to go opposite from what Mike said here. I don't think it is about logo for us. I think it is more about location. I think I'm going back to what Todd said, the episode where we picked where your favorite vacations would be in the United States, and that's kind of how I rationaled mine. Actually, I'm gonna add another one too, because I'll go with Todd here, and it said I did put a lot of thought into the Seattle Kraken. Again, I think Russell had mentioned Portland or somewhere up in Oregon as a destination that he would like to visit, and that's probably the closest would be Seattle, Washington. It is a new hockey team. They have a really cool color scheme, really cool logo. As a new fan, it would make perfect sense to jump in on that. So that would get an honorable mention there. Another one I thought about was, I know Russell, I think, had mentioned Vermont in his cities as far as that he'd want to visit. Now, there isn't any teams up in Vermont, but I think I'm going to go with a northeastern team here. This is not my final answer, but this is one I thought about. I looked into the New York area for Russell here, but I did not go with the most common New York Rangers. I didn't go over to Jersey and say the Devils. I'm going to go ahead and say the New York Islanders I put a lot of thought into, mainly just for the fact that they're not as mainstream as the Rangers. They're up in the Northeast, so that's one I put some thought into.
And their alternate jerseys with the little Gordon's fisherman guy.
Oh, those are tight.
It's pretty banging.
Yeah, I've got one of those. Roman Hammerlick wore it to one of the more recent pods. So
what team is that?
New York Islanders.
Oh, the Islanders. Yeah,
so I could see the Kraken. I could see the Islanders. Much like Sean mentioned with the Phoenix Coyotes, we just talked about them moving to Utah. So this year they were known as the Utah Hockey Club. The fans are not happy with that name. So they're going through a vote to figure out what the name of the team is going to be. And it looks like the Utah Mammoth is going to end up winning, and they're going to have a woolly mammoth logo. That seems to be the front runner right now. Same concept. I know Russell likes the whole national park scene and whatnot. It's not a new franchise, but it's a new team. So being a new fan, I can see you jumping into that. So Utah Mammoth or Utah Hockey Club at the moment could be an option. But I did hear at Todd's sweater party that Russell was already doing his research in the front runner because he had some I guess experience in the area, friends in the area, something along the lines. I don't know what it was, but he said he was leaning towards the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that's going to be one that I'm going to stick with just for hearing that. Now maybe that was 2 months ago, so he might have changed his opinion, but I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is my final choice just for overhearing that.
Damn, I thought it was the Sharks.
Those are also great choices. So let's see what Pat has to say now.
All right. So, Travis, the reason I had you go before me was because at one get-together, Russell sort of let slip that he might not be taking your number one pick as his probable choice. So I kind of thought about it. I still think that could be in play, though. So I'm not going to rule that out. I'm going to make that probably my second guess. But I think, Colin, you said you don't think it's all about the logos with him. I think that may not be the number one priority, but I definitely think it matters, probably like second most important, because my man likes to match his J's and footwear.
That is true. With
what he's wearing. So it can't be a team that's got a boring either colorway or logo. It doesn't be the best logo, but it's got to be a good logo or at least a good colorway that will go with something he maybe already owns, or maybe a pair of shoes that he is thinking about getting, especially if they're like an olive green and tan or brown color.
If you look at the Penguins' alternate jerseys, I got the Sidney Crosby bobblehead up there with the light blue. I mean, those jerseys they're God.
So those are pretty fire. Not gonna lie,
they're God.
So I kind of started looking at just based off Eastern and West Conference, and I almost pretty much threw out in the entire Eastern Conference because the logos are either plain or they're just not very good overall. The only suggestion I could maybe think, I kind of thought maybe the Ottawa Senators, not the best logo, but we could work with that. Just wrote it down.
I don't know if Russell's going Canada though.
But see, then that's when I thought Winnipeg, good looking logo, even with the maple leaf and then the jet on it in front of it. Mm-hmm. So I thought about that.
I do like those,
but didn't love it. Penguins logo.
Do you think a certain former friend's favorite team is the Senators?
The Penguins.
Which one?
Somebody who's really into politics.
He's a Blackhawk guy.
Yeah, he said he was a Blackhawk.
Yeah.
Who is this?
Who?
Oh, I don't know.
He was a big fan of Senator Bernie Sanders.
Bruh. Somebody that way you used to know.
So then I go to the Western Conference. After all the shit that we gave Mike about the Golden Knights, I don't think he's going to pick them. He doesn't want to be that guy. Plus,
That would be a smart move for us.
That would be a great move.
Would you actually watch the game? If us joined in?
If you were if you picked the Golden Knights, you'd be the first one in the group to be a Golden Knights fan to actually watch your games. Because this one doesn't. Yeah, I'm just it is what it is. But sorry, Mike, love you.
He's going to pick the Golden Knights, and then I'm going to announce I'm going to make a hockey pick, and then I'm going to troll for an hour, and then pick the Golden Knights.
Pick the Golden Knights. I think I'm going to change my pick real quick.
So then that kind of led me to maybe the Kraken, because location, we already talked about, hey, places we'd love to go visit.
Cool name.
Great name. The logo, a lot to be desired.
Still cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just an S. It's simple, but it's clean, but it works.
But colors are good. He can definitely match Jays to those colors, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of went back to Anaheim out of just a nostalgia pick, because really good logo, cool Casey Jones. I believe Russell has a Casey Jones hat that would go well with a pair of mint and black and white Jays, I believe.
Still do not own those.
Russ is also a Disney fan. They have Disneyland out in Anaheim.
Yeah,
true.
Ooh.
So I'm just kind of cut through most of the BS. I'm gonna take Anaheim as 1. I'm gonna take the Kraken as 2, and Pittsburgh will be 3, just because I feel like those make the most sense. But up until he relayed some information to me, probably a little bit not sober, that he may not be sticking with Pittsburgh, I was thrown for the loop, and so none of my choices were going to be. They were always going to be kind of free for all picks. So Russell, take it over. It's yours now.
So y'all hit the nail on the head with a lot of what y'all were saying. I'm not surprised, but nobody picked the team.
Okay.
Y'all were so close, but I'm taking the Dallas Stars.
It's usually the way it goes, but okay.
So I'm going to try and format this to where I'll give some more obscure data or stats, and I might mess it up, honestly. My notes are not well organized. But so like a lot of y'all said, the way that I started to approach this was I had some key categories. The first one being like, how cool is the logo? That was pretty important to me, or at least at first. That's like one of the first things I started looking at, and I started delving in more to what type of fan base does each of these teams have? Are they a bunch of dickheads? Or like
Flyers fans? Yes.
Flyers out.
So I went off of fan base and logos, and then I started looking into like, all right, well, let me see who's actually currently doing the best and the worst. Because, I mean, I don't necessarily want to...
And he picked.
I don't want to pick the best team.
The Knights are not the best. He doesn't want to pick the best.
But I don't want to pick the worst team either.
So a mid-tier team. Okay.
So those were kind of the 3 main things that I kind of went after, and I started doing some research and looking up random stuff.
I really do like that philosophy. Like, I don't want to pick the bottom of the tank here, but I also don't want to pick the front runners.
Now, I will say that I ended up settling upon somebody that was more towards the front than I don't want to say that I wanted to be, but they're a solid team.
Sharks.
So a fun stat. Let me see where I wrote this down.
I love that he has notes and stats about.
So since '96, this team has won 3 Stanley Cups.
Not the Sharks.
Oh Jesus!
Is he going Detroit?
I was about to say, don't tell me the Red Wings.
The Wingers.
So
I like Wales. It's the Canucks.
I'll tell the story about.
In Detroit, it's hot as fuck right now.
Did they throw octopi on the ice?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Was their last Stanley Cup within the last 5 years?
It was.
So it's the Penguins.
So I'm going to take a second to talk about the Penguins real quick.
Let Russell explain it, guys.
If it's Colorado.
So Penguins was a very easy go-to for me initially because
who likes Colorado?
I have a close. What's wrong with Colorado? There's lots of skiing there.
Yeah.
I have a close connection with not penguins in general, but growing up, I've always really liked penguins. Like going to the zoo.
Sure.
I'm an avid gamer. My gamer tag.
You told us that when we were in St. Louis.
What did I tell you?
That you like penguins.
Yeah, I know, because we were at the zoo. I was like, there's penguins. I like these guys.
You had a shirt on that said I heart penguins.
I think you were about to get a plushie.
I legitimately used to have a shirt in high school that had a penguin holding 2 lightsabers, and I forget what it said, but it was ridiculous.
You were pretty chubbed up at the zoo. I'm just saying. Not that I was looking, but it's alleged.
I was impressed.
Like my man.
Russell really likes animals.
Grower and ashore. Anyway, carry on.
I ultimately did not go with the penguins, but I do have strong ties to penguins. So that was an initial first. Let me go check the penguins out. Let me see if this is the team for me. A fun story. So back in, I believe it was 2017, I had to go to Pittsburgh for work for a conference. Mm-hmm. It just so happened to be right after they won the cup. So I actually got to go and check out the parade and stuff that was going on. I just had such a good time being in that element. I currently own Penguins merch. I have a hat and I have a shirt, which I wanted to show up in it and just to kind of throw everybody for a loop, but I did not. So I did not go with the Penguins. Logos. So logos, I did not end up picking a logo that I thought was necessarily top tier.
Oh, it's better.
Penguins, I really thought was a really top tier logo. Also, the Predators. I really like the Nashville logo. I think it's really, really cool. And then the Sharks, actually. The Sharks has such a great logo right now. That's probably one of my favorite logos right now. They were great. Did not go with any of those teams, though.
Okay.
The next thing was the fans, and I really had conflicting information when I was trying to look up who has shitty fans and who doesn't.
I think as long as you don't go with Philly, you're probably okay.
Enough said about the fans.
I don't know. Is Vegas falling in the shitty fans?
Wishy-washy.
I heard, and Maple Leafs fans, maybe Dicks too. I don't know.
So I did read that they were not great fans.
Yeah.
The next thing I started looking into was when the team was established and how they kind of came to be where they're at. So the team that I selected did not start where they currently are. They actually started in Quebec.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
So I believe it is 1972 until 1995.
One of my favorite hockey players. Not that I have many. Played for the Nordiques. Just saying.
The Quebec Nordics.
Let him finish. I'm getting close.
Patrick's about to finish.
But I do not have his jersey from the Nordiques.
So I don't have the full story, and I think I was able to gain most of it. But so they transfer over in '95, and they don't really have logo. What am I trying to say? They weren't set on what their logo was, so they threw a Yeti foot on it, which I think remained up until a couple years ago, maybe a little bit longer ago. It used to be on the shoulder pads.
And they had the Yeti foot, and they also used to have a really good player for him named Adam Foot.
Coincidence?
I think not.
Let him finish.
So currently,
That's
this
what she
team,
said.
Are you going to finish at the same time?
Damn right.
Probably.
We're gonna hold hands.
double Dutch rudder? Hell yeah, let's go.
On air.
So, I did look into the players a little bit, and currently I didn't want to go after the top scoring player, but I kind of ended up doing that. So you got Nathan McKinnon is currently the highest or the leading point holder. So I think he's pretty low on goals, but his assists are ridiculous. I think he's actually the leading assist as well.
Ding.
And then defense. I tried to look offensively and defensively, but and I might be pronouncing this wrong. But Caleb McCarr, yeah, it's the leading defensive-man right now. And just this, as I'm researching this, I'm this team's starting to fit. Denver is somewhere that I really want to go. I have friends that live there. I love the snow. Pat is so excited right now. But ultimately, I went with the golden. No. Colorado Avalanche.
Woo! Okay, well, I think I don't know. I think we're going to hold off on anybody else and let Patrick go first here.
Woo! That was a worse pick than the Golden Knights.
I like the logo a lot, Sean. It's cool.
Woo! First of all, let me just say, welcome to the Brotherhood.
I was worried because you mentioned something about the Avalanche, and I don't remember. I think it was at the last pod, but I'm really glad that I didn't let anything slip.
Well, you did well. The only thing you said that was would have gone against a surprise was what you told Travis
Right.
and I.
Right.
And then subsequently, what you kind of said to me, I think it maybe at Travis's house about I'm probably not picking Pittsburgh. Let me take the bias out of my analysis of your pick here and tell you why it's a good pick. Like you said, you picked a team that is not only relevant, they're good, but they're not
They're good.
perennial.
So
They're
they won the
good.
cup in
They're
22.
just not.
The
They're right.
2 times before that were 01 and 96.
Yeah,
so it's
so-
like they had a really long
period in between.
and they're doing well right now. So I want to think. I think I was looking at their 10th overall via the league, and then they're 4th in their division in the Western Conference. Yeah.
They have players that are recognizable,
Mm-hmm.
that is easy to buy merch for. The logo's good. The city's good. So if you ever want to go see a game, it's easy to get to and out of the city, and a great city.
Colorado road trip.
I'm in.
Yes and yes.
Not
and
me.
yes.
Taking the train.
Maybe not the train. Maybe the train once we get there.
25-hour train ride.
I mean, hell, we did 12.
We could be drunk for 24 hours straight. It's okay.
Don't tell me with a good time. But I don't, and maybe Todd, you can speak to this, and Travis as well. Like, I don't think most fan bases really hate Colorado. There's nothing really
Not that I know of.
wrong, quote unquote, with them. They, I mean, obviously, other than the fans of Quebec, they don't like them. But sure,
Which makes sense.
yeah. But no, I think it's a really good pick. Happy to have another comrade on my side, and it's a logical pick in terms of it's a good team. They're not like say the Lightning were 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, where they were in the championship 3 years in a row, went back to back. Yeah, and it's a good logo too. The merch is going to be amazing. Like all the maroon stuff you can get, and then you alternate with the navy blue and white or gray. You have a ton of options.
For the record, I currently own shoes that would match the merch.
Again, which is why I never thought Colorado. Maybe not even for that reason, but it makes sense.
And if I had to say the amount of players that I've liked in hockey, a lot of them were Avalanche around that time. Sakic, Forsberg,
I tried to look up
Patrick Waugh.
who was not a douchebag. I didn't have great success with looking that up, but I didn't want to have to follow a team where their stars were assholes.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
don't believe that McKinnon is.
You said other than Wah?
Wait, was that?
You said other than Wah?
So I don't know who that is.
Yeah, so Patrick Waugh he's actually coaches the Islanders right now, I believe, but
Yes, does he? Okay.
but he's was known to be an asshole, but yeah.
He was a goalie.
He was he was a goalie during their
It was really
01
good.
Stanley Cup. Yeah.
You all right there?
That one gave me a little problem.
Look, I don't oppose the pick. I'm really glad Patrick now has a buddy to watch hockey with. It would have been nice to have another Sharks fan to commiserate with. But
So for the record, I looked at Seattle pretty hard.
Yeah.
Because I really want to go to Seattle, and specifically Willamette Valley. Love wine. I want to go do Pinot Country. That would have been big. That was a close second. Sharks was my number one logo pick, and I came close to considering them.
they have so many good logos too. Like, even have the little the Finn logo that got tattooed on my wrist. The old logo was good. That's what drew me to them. I mean, it was really the inaugural season. My uncle gave me a puck that made me a Sharks fan. But I mean, the colors too, like the teal, can't really go wrong with it.
Yeah.
Other than the level of play. I mean, I guess you can go wrong there, but no Stanley Cups. I mean,
They've been to a Stanley Cup. So.
and they lost to the Penguins.
Yeah, I think it's an okay pick. I think you have a lot of legendary players to pick from there between Joe Sakic, Patrick Waugh, Peter Forsberg, Ray Bourque, even though he wasn't there that long. Adam Foote, like Todd mentioned, great one. My favorite player of all time, played a few years and won a Stanley Cup with Colorado. It's Rob Blake. But at the so I don't think you can. I don't think you can really go wrong with that pick.
Yeah, I was actually gonna throw that in there. That Travis's player, your favorite player, played for the Avalanche, but I decided to let him do that instead.
Yeah, and Travis, you kind of stepped off mic for a second, but I was saying I don't think there's maybe a team or a fan base that would say anything really bad about Colorado. They're not a douchey. They don't have any really douchey players or managers or the fans. More importantly, the fans aren't really douchey at all. So I think it'd be a good pick. I don't think anyone has anything bad to say about them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, solid pick, Russ. Solid pick. All right. So before we fully exit the conversation of sports here, Mike had recently got his son involved with travel ball, so he's joining the travel ball family, much like Todd over here. And I'll let Mike kind of go on and tell us his first experiences with it so far, and if Todd would like to add anything, being the travel ball guru over here, he may as well join. So go ahead, Mike.
So far so good. Alex started, my oldest started the New Orleans Renegades 12U. He literally did one practice, and Saturday was his first tournament. It was a one-day tournament. It went really well. They came in second place. They got rings, a trophy, everything else. He was excited. The whole team thought, he was the good luck charm. They were happy that he was there. Everybody was really friendly. I can see that this is like very very family oriented. Very it's going to start new relationships, new friendships. Everybody's is really cool. So I'm happy for that. The last thing I wanted to do was join some kind of team where the parents were all stuck up and then you're just sitting there and, just miserable. The one-day tournament kind of...
One-day tournaments are brutal.
That kind of took me by surprise. Luckily, I kind of came a little prepared, a little. I had a wagon.
Was it wasted?
It was a wasted wagon.
It wasn't used well.
I had some fans and cooler and all that kind of stuff, but
See, the one-day thing is because it was just long. Grueling.
Normally tournaments, from what I have understood,
so basically
is 2 days.
You do 2 pool play games. So depending on how you finish in those pool play games, it sets you up for the tournament on Sunday. So the pool play games are always on Saturday. I don't understand why they just can't, with travel ball, have a game here and there. Why we got to play? Everything has to be a tournament. I mean, other than the money making thing where you got to pay $10 to get in every fucking day. But yeah, it's typically Saturday games are 2 pool play games, and then you play tournament play on Sunday.
Well, the one-day tournament, they take all the games and play it in one day.
Yeah, it's
so
long.
You're there 13 hours, possibly.
Yeah.
Even longer sometimes. Day. Yeah, long day. So luckily, my wife went the first 2 games, and then I showed up for the remainder. There's a lot of waiting and a lot of time just chilling, hanging out kind of thing, waiting for a game to end so your kid can go play the next game kind of thing.
Yeah.
In the bracket play.
Where did y'all play at?
LaSalle.
Because one of the best places to play, as far as if you have gaps, if you have a 2-hour gap in between games, is Chapapila and Hammond. That's because Gnarly Barley is 10 minutes away, okay. So you can go 2 hours in between, go have yourself a beer, and
that's awesome.
Head back to the park.
Okay, good to know. I ran out of beer, so that would absolutely be something. And they sell beer at the concession stand at LaSalle. And if you were to buy that beer, they sell it 6 beers for $30.
So you have to buy a bucket.
It's goddamn.
See if they have buckets.
That's $5 a beer. That's not bad.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not $9 beer night.
Not terrible, but if you have no other option, you're going to pay.
You don't have any other option.
Yeah, and plus you get the idea of if you bring your own beer, you have something that you want to drink. But
But
a bucket of Miller's not that bad.
But this is something that he wanted to do for a long time, just with my schedule, Jamie's schedule. We just kind of, put it to the side, and then we decided this year to go ahead and do it. So he's excited. It was crazy, He was in the winning team, one of the winning teams for the tournament, and he got the swag and all that, the trophy. So he's excited for that too. but it's just a lot of time that is going to be devoted towards that, which is something that I'm a little scared of because I don't have a lot of time just with my work schedule.
Yeah, it's a devotion. But kind of like you said, I mean, started with it. It's really good that you have a good group of parents that are there. Like, you feel like they're cool people because, as I've said before on this podcast, there's a lot of parents there that you're around at these parks that you'd never want to be associated with. Like, they would never be on this podcast shooting shit with us ever. Yeah. I think I even mentioned that the gentleman with the
batting cap,
the little sideline helmet, little base coach helmet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
good that you have beamed with a 30-mile-an-hour fastball.
It's good that you're around people that you don't mind being around because, as you know, it can be very, very time consuming being in especially a one-day tournament where you're possibly there for 13 hours. But just to give you kind of a full warning, you're going to run into those. This is your first tournament. You're going to end up running into those people that you're like, man, I'm glad I'm on this team because I don't want to hang out with those people.
Does the team set up tents and have food and things like that?
And my team sets up tents. They have food.
Okay.
We drink fireball shots before every game.
Nice.
Together.
The team too, right? Not just the parents.
So
Russell's going to enter a kid in travel ball.
People bring like daiquiris,
Look,
gallons of daiquiris.
Y'all are more than welcome to come watch Camden play for $10 a pop. So I mean,
I can picture a kid.
Hey, if I can sneak some alcohol in, I'll come watch.
They don't thoroughly check.
No.
So I mean, if you bring a backpack, they rarely ever check that.
I've been to LaSalle, so I've been to LaSalle more than any of the other parts that y'all probably play at. So I'm kind of aware of some of the plans. But listen, if you need support, let me know when I can order a size large T-shirt, and I'll show up.
I think Pat and I both have snuck alcohol into LaSalle before.
No comment. I don't know the statute of limitations on boozing in a non-public or allowed boozing sex store, but whatever.
So I'm pretty excited. There's also like the World Series where we're going to Branson, Missouri.
Oh my God! I feel sorry for you on that part.
Branson bound. You gonna make sweatshirts?
I've never been there, so I don't really know.
It's a shithole.
Is it?
No offense, Branson.
But,
Missouri.
You can take the train.
You take the train.
But anyway, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be cool. Good fit for my kid.
How you say it's his first tournament, right?
Yeah, first ever.
Where's he playing positionally?
Right now,
right
he's
now.
in right field.
Okay.
Yeah,
that would make sense. I mean, it's probably where he starts off. It's a pretty safe position for the most part.
Where does he want to play?
He's played third base before and shortstop. He really likes third base. He's always played infield throughout all his different little teams that he's been on. But
does he have a chooch?
A chooch?
Yeah, he's got a chooch.
He's got a chooch.
To play third base, you gotta have a chooch. You need a strong arm.
He does have a very strong arm.
You know what? I've seen him throw the football around a little bit before. He
definitely has a strong arm. As a matter of fact, one of the plays yesterday, he threw from right field all the way to home plate. Almost got the guy out, but he didn't. But he almost did, and I was like, "Oh, nice. Damn!"
How was his nerves, like his first time, like let's say his first at bat? Did he tell you he was like really nervous, or he was just I know what I'm doing. It might be a bigger stage, but like I know what I'm doing.
He was nervous, and his first time at bat, he actually hit the ball, and he did like a little pop fly. Somebody caught it, but that was good to see, because he struggled before with batting. So it kind of gave him a little confidence to continue on the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he didn't get backwards K'd on his first at bat, no. Hey, you put the ball in play, you make contact. Yeah, there's a fly out, sure, but you put the ball in play, you make contact. That's a big part. You saw the ball, hit the ball.
Make contact. Yep.
After that, he'll dial it in. I have a very. Does he have any swag yet? You got any drip for him?
So as a matter of fact, while we were there, they have like tents and little tables set up with different
you got
drip. They call it drip.
Of course.
And he wanted me to go get him some kind of beads, this little sparkly bead thing. and I got it for him.
He's a small logo on that.
Okay. If I can make one recommendation to you, batting gloves. The number one unwritten rule: you cannot wear white batting gloves unless you're a baller. So like, let them know that. Like, I'd say get them a pair and be like, hey, bud. When your average gets, up and higher up like that after a while, then you can get the white batting gloves. Okay. But that way that gives them an incentive to like maybe work hard and practice more and like that. Like, hey, you're going to be wearing whatever the team color batting gloves are, but I got some drip for you.
Unspoken rule.
Yeah,
I like it.
We would always chat like in travel softball. We would always like chastise the dudes that wore like white batting gloves like they were the shit and then hit poo-poo the whole tournament. Like, oh, you went 550 for a tournament? That's not good. Not good enough for you to be wearing white batting gloves. You should wear like brown or tan or something like that. You don't get white batting gloves unless you hit like 750 or better.
Close to the shit color.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
In all fairness, my my gray and black batting gloves I use for golf tournaments. So
that's fine. I never owned a pair of white batting gloves when I played rec or travel softball, but I was an okay hitter, but never good enough to wear that.
The way I think though is like, man, white batting gloves, they would get dirty quick. Like I wouldn't want to wear them.
Right, but there's nothing more fresh than walking to the plate, doing checking your glove fit, and they're just white batting gloves, and you blinged up. Yeah, get him some white batting gloves. And tell him he's got to earn them.
All right.
Well, congratulations to Alex for making the Renegades, and we look forward to you keeping us updated on how that's going.
Yes, I definitely want updates. We need updates on how his season's going, so we can keep tabs on that. And if we can infiltrate a ballpark,
man, please come.
Can we interview Alex after a couple games?
Absolutely. And what I learned, the one thing that I did learn, this is at least his team. This is a drinking club.
I was about to say, yeah.
This is we got annihilated. We got sloshed by the end of the night. Even though I didn't bring enough beer, I definitely bummed some beers from people, and we got sloshed.
That's the reason we do what we do. We play at our adult, the New Orleans Catholic Men's Club softball tournament. It's more about the hanging with the guys all day long. It's like we had music playing. We call it the cock blocker. It's the rolling speaker. It's the rock blocker or whatever the hell. Block rocker, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And we had that in the dugout, and they like looking at us like a bunch of fools. We had wives and kids and everything out there. It was like a block party. And that's what makes the softball tournament. It's like, oh yeah, we're also playing a sport at the same time. And check out Gail and Sean Payton.
Lovely.
Well, exiting the sports talk here, we Todd and I actually went on a movie date last night.
What?
And we went and saw a really good movie, and it was one that the previews looked pretty good, but it wasn't one that I probably would have normally said like, oh, I really want to go see this. The movie was called Love Hurts.
Love Hurts. Travis, who did you go see the movie with?
I went to go see it with my brother Todd.
Oh, and no one else.
No way.
Okay.
Date was an interesting choice of words to describe the event of the night. But go on. So,
hey, they've been very attached since birth. I'm just saying.
It's a good point.
I don't understand why it can't be a brotherly date.
It's a bro date. Yeah.
That's nothing wrong with it.
No.
All right, so
I encourage this.
Love Hurts. I'm not a big movie person, so I've never heard of it. So who's the main star?
The protagonist.
No, who's the lead actor or actress?
I honestly don't know the dude's name. It was the.
I feel bad because I don't know his name either.
The Asian kid from Goonies.
It's Data.
It's Data from Goonies, and I'm actually pulling it up right now. His name is Ki Hu Kwang.
Indy, cover your heart.
But I had some other
Ki
big
Hu
names.
Kwan.
What?
Ki Hu Kwan.
What?
It had
Cream of some young guy.
Okay.
No, it had Sean Astin in it. It had Marshawn Lynch in it. I mean, there was some other
Beast Mode.
It had the girl from what, Crazy Stupid Love in it. That was the babysitter.
Was the girl from Nope in it?
Leo Tipton.
It had Cam Gigandet from Never Back Down in Twilight.
I just found out last night his name is pronounced Gigande.
Oh.
Wow.
Who'd you find that out from?
Just answer me this. Was there bottomless popcorn involved?
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Always.
Okay.
But anyway, it was a movie that I originally looked at the previews and I said, looks okay, but yeah, I'll go see it. But walked away from it, and I was very pleased. The movie was kind of like a John Wick comedy. Like they had a lot of action in it, but the whole time it was hilarious. Like Marshawn Lynch was paired up with another actor. I think it was
like Eric Armstead or something like that.
Eric Armstead's a football player.
What?
Andre Erickson.
Andrew Erickson, yeah.
Eric Armstead just won Walter Payton Man of the Year.
I think that just flashed on the screen.
What's the premise of the movie? Because a John Wick comedy sounds pretty entertaining.
Right. So basically, the main character, his name is Ke Huy Quan.
What?
Better known as Data from Goonies.
Okay!
But he is a current real estate agent, and he actually just won Realtor of the Year. He really appreciates the job as a real estate agent because he escaped his brother's crime family, pretty much, and he was a hitman, murderer for his brother, and he ends up finding this normal life that Sean Astin gave him, and no spoilers here, but spoilers, Sean Astin dies unnecessarily, just like he does in Stranger Things.
Go figure.
But he gets a boba tea straw to the eye.
No lie.
Nice. Wow.
But yeah, so the whole time, and then while he's trying to live his normal life, an ex-girlfriend comes into play who used to work for him and his brother, and she's the love interest. And then her coming back brings up some bad karma with the brother, and then the brother pulls him back into the crime family, and then it becomes a saga of him trying to live a normal life while trying to escape this life of murder and crime, but he gets sucked back into it. But the whole time there's a lot of one-liners, a lot of comedy scenes, even though there's a lot of action going on as well. So, and it's only an hour and 20 minutes, so it's very, very short, quick watch, and it keeps you entertained pretty much the whole time. So,
Yep.
Travis,
Marshawn Lynch was great in that movie.
what theater did y'all go to watch this?
we went to AMC Clearview with the comfy seats.
The dine-in one?
Yes.
Was there dining in?
I didn't know y'all liked Clearview.
Dining in?
Yeah. Did you dine in the dine-in theater?
No, I didn't eat.
Did you order anything
Sure didn't.
from friends that work there?
No.
Any chicken wings with the bone in?
I don't have any friends that work there.
Okay.
But no, look, do yourselves a favor if you haven't watched, if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, it just came out, but Love Hurts is a really good movie. If you're looking for something to watch with the family, if you're looking for something to watch, well, maybe it's not appropriate for young kids with the murder in it, but at the same time, it's a really good, interesting watch, and it's very quick too. So if you don't have a lot of time on your hands, which I know most of us don't, quick, funny, interesting, action-packed watch.
I'd give it like 4 out of 5 hearts. It was good.
It was good.
By the way, Ke Huy Quan won an Oscar for Everything All at Once, or whatever the hell the name of
That movie was very, very good.
He won Best Supporting Actor. Yeah.
And he was also good in Loki, like Russell mentioned earlier.
Yeah, he quit acting for like a decade and a half or something. And
I think he popped up in Loki, right?
Kind of like Jeremy Renner. Then he pops up in The Hurt Locker, and then he won an Oscar for that.
yep.
Okay, so we're going to close out the episode with probably the smartest version of sports talk we've probably ever done. So obviously we're recording this right now before the Super Bowl. I don't really want to get into the back and forth of how these teams so much got here, and really just kind of focus on who do we think is going to win and maybe why. I know Mike's going to say Kansas City's going to win because of the refs, and that's fine, whatever.
That's true.
But I consume a lot of sports or football analysis versus hot takery. I don't love the hot take and atmosphere of like sports media, I'd rather just listen to people tell me why certain things are happening or why certain teams are better from just a schematic standpoint. But I guess let's maybe go around the room first and just say maybe who we want to win and maybe a quick reason as to why we want them to win. And we can just kind of play it by there. Russell, you're the least sports versed person of the group, so you start us off.
I would like the Eagles to win because fuck the Chiefs.
Fair point.
Okay. Simple, succinct. I like it.
I guess real quick, I watched was it Welcome to Wrexham? Yeah, so Rob McElhenney goes into his love for the Eagles, and I just really liked that segment of that, and that ever so slightly brought me a little bit closer to the Eagles.
Okay.
Russell's a homer.
What'd you call him?
A homer.
Oh, okay.
No homo.
Mike, why don't you tell us who you think's going to win?
Well, it's kind of obvious, Travis.
I mean, based on the color of his shirt, I think I know who he's pulling for.
I mean, it's definitely rigged one way only, and it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, do I personally want them to win? Absolutely not. But do I think they're going to win? Absolutely so. This is many years of playing with the numbers. Okay, there's a lot of money involved, and I think that money talks. And there's no more money out there that says any different. So yes, Kansas City is going to win.
All right, I'm obviously pulling for Philly. I'm over the tired of seeing Kansas City win. So I'm going to pull, and my reasoning is very simple. Like Saquon Barkley won us a fantasy championship. He was a key piece of it. That winning another fantasy championship, and I am happy for his success moving on from New York. So I'd like to see him win. So he's the main reason why I'd want to see Philly win. But I think it's going to go down to the very end of the game. I think it's going to be very close, and I think Kansas City is going to probably end up pulling it out in the end like they always do, much like they did against the Bills 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I want the Eagles to win. It's kind of for the same reasons Travis said. Saquon helped us win a fantasy championship, so why not root the man on to help him win a?
No, it was all Jahmyr Gibbs.
Plus,
Him too.
Plus, my doppelganger is standing on the sideline, so why not root for him to win a Super Bowl too? So why not?
Wait, who's your doppelganger?
Nick Sirianni.
Oh. I was like, Alex Smith doesn't play anymore.
But who do I think's going to win? I think Kansas City's going to win. Again, they just kind of find a way, Mike, to pull it out in the end.
Life finds a way.
Life finds a way. Kansas City.
I mean, I don't know. This is for the Chiefs are prime set up to go for a three-peat because they went through all the other teams that were back-to-back and had a chance that like they were injured or John Elway retired or all these reasons why the other teams were just like, it wasn't happening. And this team is healthy. They still got their future Hall of Fame coach. It's tough to root against them, but then at the same time, this Eagles team is stacked. They're number one defense. They number one running back in the league right now, and then the passing game is still there. It's like I could see them focusing on Saquon, and then Devontae Smith has 100 yards and a touchdown, or AJ Brown. It's tough to. I don't know. I'm just hoping to see a really good game. But then again, 2 years ago it was the same thing where it was the final score was 38-35. It's hard to believe the Eagles put up 35 points and they still lost that Super Bowl. So, I don't know. I think ultimately it'll come down to whoever has the ball last because if it's like the Chiefs are down by 3 or something with like a minute and a half left, it's like Mahomes is going to matriculate it down the field and he's going to score somehow.
Sean, once a cheater, always a repeater.
So do you think it's going to be the Eagles, or you think it's going to end up being the Chiefs?
I want the Eagles, but if the Chiefs win, I'm not going to be surprised at all.
All right. I'm pretty torn on who I think will actually win, just because there's a lot of, as one analyst has said, a lot of good on good. The Eagles have an incredible running game. And their passing game, when it's on, they're very good. They're talented on offense from a passing standpoint. The Chiefs have an incredible defense, and they're schemed very well. The Chiefs' offense, though it's not as explosive as it used to be, still finds a way to win and get the ball down and feel like that. The Eagles' pass defense and their rush defense is very good. They're number 1 and 2 in the league, I think, in almost every defensive category. Personally, I would like to see a three-peat because it's never been done, just to say it's been done and I was alive to see it happen.
It's going to happen tonight.
Am I also over the Chiefs' dominance, quote unquote, a little bit? I don't think it goes without saying that, like, my affinity for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, because I think I remember when Mahomes replaced Alex Smith in Kansas City, we had a lot of back and forth, Todd, Travis, and I, about Mahomes coming in, and I was a big proponent of him after he supplanted Alex Smith and whatnot. But for Jalen Hurts, I would love to see him get a ring, and Saquon too, and the entire Eagles team. So I don't think I have I'm not going to be a loser regardless of whoever wins the Super Bowl. I'm going to be okay with it either way, because I'll get to see something that either never happened, or will end the Chiefs' quote unquote dominance, and we have a new team to hopefully take over the mantle of being the number 1 team in the sport. So as far as who's going to win, unless Philly starts to, I think, maybe blow Kansas City out, like go up 10, 12, 14 over points, and it's a close game, I think Kansas City's going to have a really good chance to pull the comeback or close it out if they're close late. But I could see Saquon taking over this game.
It feels like this season's like destiny for Saquon. It's like, one of the best running back seasons ever. Mm-hmm. And I think he has a chance of so many yards in this game to have like the most scrimmage yards in a season for a running back. Yeah. He didn't break the record with the 2105 or whatever, but yeah, the most, like the amount of playoff yards and 60 plus yard touchdowns, that's already a record or something. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of like Cooper Kupp's like Triple Crown, when they won in 21.
And I mean, Sean, kind of like you said, at the end of the day, I'm probably just pulling for a really good game, kind of similar to their Super Bowl 2 years ago. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was an incredible game. This game will be kind of the defensive line, the defenses trying to stop the offenses, and vice versa, because they're both very good on both sides of the ball. So, at the end of the day, just give me a good game, keep me entertained, and if we get down to the fourth quarter with 3-4 minutes left, we'll see what happens.
I forget how good last year's was. I was seeing a replay that the 49ers were up like 10-0, like close to half, or I think they went into half, and the Chiefs got it together, and it ended up going into overtime, and the Niners even kicked a field goal. They were up 22-19, I think, and then the Chiefs still ran it down, scored a touchdown, and won the game.
Why is that, Mike?
It was rigged.
And on that semi-conspiracy theory, wagons out.
Go Birds.
Wagons out.
Wagons out.